reality, captured in user-friendly symbols and processed for understanding.
Often you say you can let go of that just like that. And often when you've said it, I said it's not that easy. But then even this week and these past weeks, there's different things that, trigger some kind of battle in my mind about something. And it creates maybe anxiety, or there is like a work conversation or a negotiation about a contract. And it creates all these emotions of, and I feel anxiety today. I was like, I'll work on it tomorrow because I'm not in that emotional space right now. And I was like, actually, all is well. Like
all is really well. All is well. But up here, you think it's not because you listen to evil and you're calling it you. All really is well, especially for the children of God. Yeah. Those who've truly been born again of the Father by forgiving.
And it's amazing, just like, I was sitting here, just also there was something that's been bothering in the back, and I just felt myself relax into and be like, all is well, and just like, it's fine. And then other than that, what I've been thinking about, that's coming back to what we're talking about now, being in a relationship, I see so clearly these between the man and the woman, is like the relationship between the father and the daughter and the mother and the son. And I feel how I become the mother to the son and vice versa. And it's just amazing. And I see myself becoming my own mother at times. And I'm like, oh God, what is happening? And it's wild.
All you need to do is see it and do nothing about it. Just see it. Do not change it. Don't reach out to something that makes a change. You just see it, and seeing it is changing it because you're seeing by the light of God. Do not do anything about it.
Yeah.
Don't judge yourself. Don't do anything about it. Just see it.
Yeah, and I think that's what I see so clearly also with when you don't forgive your mother. I can almost see, and again, this could be a lie, but from just what I've seen, is like I almost see how almost the man in the relationship almost takes the role of the son to the mother.
Yeah.
And he finds pleasure in that because the mother, the woman, takes care of him in all these different ways, and he finds a lot of pleasure in it, but there is still so much resentment, and it almost becomes this boy with the resentment for the mother, and that's where there is so much like push and pull constantly, and vice versa. And yeah, it's so
and
true.
This battle, it goes from generation to generation.
Yeah.
Because no one ever stop and see what's going on so they can overcome it and operate from real love and then change the whole thing.
All right, just to I'll let it play while I talk. So, I've spoken about this many times, so this is just kind of just to kind of prove to y'all, not that y'all need convincing at this point, you can observe it in your own life, but these are real issues people are facing when it comes to this wife and husband dynamic where the husband becomes the son in the relationship and resentment builds up in the wife where the woman gets tired of being a mother to her own husband because, and this is all on the father, by the way, because the dad, the male, won't let go of this mommy spirit that's taking control of him. And a lot of you are either experiencing that in your own marriages or you've seen it in others, either in your parents, your father and your mother played out this dynamic, and it's just an ongoing issue, you know? I just wanted to show that real quick. Had a timestamp here. Thought I did. Let me fix that. Just a second. There we go. So, just to give another example of the bullshit, just to kind of drill it home about how the things I talk about regarding relationships and the dynamics between, people,
a year, and you'll see. All right?
Thank you very much.
All right. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Amazing. Yes, sir.
I kind of mentioned this before, but if the person you want to forgive, in my case, it's my father, isn't available, can you just forgive him in your heart
Absolutely.
and just move on with your life?
When you forgive him by realizing that just as you couldn't help yourself, because now you have a little understanding.
Yeah.
I'll play it at
you understand
1.25,
that He
guys.
couldn't help himself either.
I
It's not him, and that would cause you to, understanding will
Yeah.
cause you to forgive him.
actually start to see him almost like me.
Yes.
But he's not available. I don't want to chase this guy down.
Don't.
So I put in a solid effort. Call, didn't get a response. Text. I mean, isn't that more than enough?
Yes.
Because I'd like to move on with my life if he's
Move
not
on.
interested. Yeah.
Just realize it's best to face the person if you can,
Yeah.
so that you can get your courage. But if you can't, realize they can help themselves just as you can help yourself,
Yes.
and the understanding will cause you to forgive him. Move on. Don't keep trying.
I mean, that's pretty much what happened. I was shaking my boots. I wouldn't even call him. I was
Right.
scared to just even call him to say, hey, we need to talk so I could do the thing. But then I made the call, so I overcame that. But he doesn't want to.
Right on. Yeah. Don't.
For the people that are thinking about forgiving your mother, forgiving your father, you're gonna shake in your boots, man. Like just to kind of go over it really quick. When I called my mother up, and was gonna forgive her, I had the phone up to my face, and my hand was like shaking really bad. I was like, and that was the moment. That was like the moment where I was like, wow, like what the hell is wrong with me? Like I'm trembling over just telling my mother that I'm sorry for, judging her, and that's ridiculous. It's like I realized at that moment that it was really truly like spirits, like a spirit inhabiting me, like that spirit of fear inhabiting me, and something needed to be done about it.
Don't try anymore. Just forgive him and move on.
Nice.
All right. Amazing.
Definitely.
You're gonna drop it. Any other? Yes, sir. And then Alessia has a question. Comment. Yes.
I have a little bit of a dilemma. I just don't want to put my daughter in between like two rocks. And while we were coming here, on the way here, she told me that while we were leaving, I was in the kitchen making my coffee, and they were in the living room. And my mother-in-law asked her, "Oh, Paula, where are you going?"
Just to preface this really quick, he's going to talk about the wickedness of, kind of like I talked about in my last video, the collaboration between the mother and the grandmother, and the wickedness that can come about from that. And I just wanted to give this as an example of just to kind of show y'all that this is an actual thing.
And she knows where we're going. She said it out loud, but her back was towards me. And my daughter told me that she told her we're going to come see Jesse to church, and she rolled her eyes at her. And my daughter told me that in the car. And my wife and my mother-in-law hated that she's so close to me and not them. And she's rejecting them, but she's rejecting their spirit. She's just rejecting who they are.
Right.
And now if I go back home and I confront her, like, what are you doing? Like, pack up your stuff or get out of here, or you can't come in between me and my daughter, my daughter and I. And
Thank you.
And this
Finally.
and this is not the first time that they've done that. But before, I would tell them. Actually, I wouldn't tell them because I don't want.
So this is a collaboration between the mother and the grandmother, attempting to separate the daughter from the father, okay? And this is all spiritual, and they may not be actively thinking, oh, I'm gonna separate my daughter from my husband. They're not actively thinking that, but that's what happens because of that resentment I just spoke of.
To kind of burn my daughter, and I don't want her to be in conflicts in the house with my wife and her mom, or so I just don't know what to do. They're just fake people, and I say it like it is.
And
That's
so
just
your
my
question-
personality.
Your question is what?
I just don't know what to do in that. I know it's not a big situation, but it's just. My advice to my daughter is you have to put your foot down so they know that they cannot come in between us.
You're right in that. So your question is what?
Do I get involved?
You're
Or do
the
I let my
father.
daughter handle it?
You are the father. It's your responsibility to protect the children from the mother and from the grandmother. Otherwise, that spirit that's in the mother and the grandmother, if the mother is not working on herself, will be passed out to your daughter. She can't handle that evil spirit.
Yep.
It is the father's responsibility to protect their children from the mother.
And they're gonna pass on that anger to the daughter, is what the issue is. And I know a lot of y'all are skeptical of this, but witnessing it firsthand in my own life, that wicked mother spirit that was in me before I forgave, like, I know what that feels like. And I didn't have my father to protect me or to stand in between my mother and myself. He wasn't there to protect me, and the sad part about it is, even if he had lived, even if he was with me my whole life, I don't know if he would have stood between us like the way he should.
Otherwise, the evil just repeats itself in every generation.
Yep.
And so to
And that right there is the generational curse.
the daughter, don't be angry. How old are you now?
I'm 16.
She's 16. Don't be angry. Start speaking up for yourself. But you were right to tell your father what happened, because your father is.
And by the way, she's very, very lucky to this 16-year-old teenager, this girl, is very, very blessed to be hearing all this at such a young age, because I was 35 when I finally realized these things, right? And it would have been like a lot less suffering if I'd had known all this before. So she's being set up to have a lifetime of just to say the cheesy phrase blessings, okay?
Supposed to protect you, right? From evil. And so when you get back home, tell her she got to go. Just say you got to go. You're never welcome here again. And why is that hard?
It's not that it's hard. My wife and I have been to counseling to you and stuff.
Right.
And I don't care about stuff as much as I used to, and I've just let things go. And I've listened to what you say and let your weapons down and don't
Stop the
argue.
fight.
Yeah, but if I go home, then it's going to be a fight and an argument for the next years and months to come.
But why must there be a fight? You don't need to fight back.
Because you're dealing with somebody that's not willing to work on themselves. Because
But
they
that's
think
on her. That's not up to you.
there's going to be conflict in the house.
Why? Yes, daughter.
When she rolled her eyes at me, I told her like, what are you rolling your eyes at? And then
Nice.
all of a sudden she switched. She's like, oh, I actually watch Jesse sometimes. I like him, this and that. I'm like, that wasn't what you just like said to me.
It's really wicked when that grandmother is attempting to like manipulate the daughter like this, like as a way of diffusing the situation, right? Instead of this lady just being honest and say, I don't like that man or whatever. It would be much more appreciated if this stupid woman would just be honest with the teenager instead of like treating her like a kid, if that makes sense.
So
Nice.
that was
Will you
it.
be sure to tell grandmama how the cow ate the cabbage? But don't be angry at her, right?
No,
Don't be angry.
I'm not.
But tell her, and then as soon as your father walks in her, hey, Dad, Grandma just rolled her eye when I tell her going to church. And then the dad tell Grandma to go home.
What a nasty
and never
lady.
come back here again. You got to take care of it because you're dealing with evil. Evil lives in human beings, and evil works through human beings. That's why we all must be born again of love. And unless you're born again of love, you don't have love. That emotion stuff is not love, that's hate. And so this woman is destroying your child. She doesn't care about your child.
Right.
And she doesn't care about you. She doesn't care about her own daughter, your wife.
This is all just straight up narcissism, like I said in my previous video where I talked about how the family is like a cult, where it's the matriarchs, the mother and the grandmother attempting to control the children with their bullshit. This is all it's about. It's not about caring for the daughter. This is about control.
So you gotta stand up. And if your wife get mad and she like arguing, if she arguing, don't argue back at all. Don't argue with the devil inside of you, and don't argue with the devil inside of other people. It's just two devils fighting. You don't have to argue back. There has to be no conflict at all. Let her have her own conflict, but don't you take it on.
When my son comes in our bed and hugs me in the middle of the night, and my wife will wake up and seeing that my son is hugging me, and she tells him, and my son comes and tells me he's only 8 years old. Tells me, "Oh, mommy told me why I'm hugging you and not her."
Yeah.
Like, this is like,
And do
these
you
are like very
correct the
small
mother in front of
examples.
the son?
What's that?
Do you correct the mother?
And that little boy's only 8. And I talked about it before, and like, this is unbelievable that that I didn't know anything about this before I made this video, where I talked about how the mother will begin to control the son at a very early age. And this guilt tripping that this lady's doing is incredibly wicked.
In front of the child?
Oh yeah, I've asked her about it before. She says, "Oh, I was just making a joke, or I was just making, yeah." She's got.
Nope, she's a controlling bitch, and that's literally all it boils down to.
Worst thing that can happen to children, boys and girls, is to be close to your father. God forbid that you look like the father. You're really gonna catch the hell from mama. But to be close to your father, the mother hated. She hated with a passion, really. And every little chance she gets.
And this is damn near universal too.
She's going to try to turn your children away from you. And it's not her, but it's that spirit that's in her. It's that spirit. And that's why you got to drop your anger so you can be on the right side of the spirit of truth. So you can correct your wife. Don't argue, but correct her. And let the kids see you protecting them by seeing you correcting their mother. And she's going to be like, "Oh, you disrespecting me. You correcting me in front of the children." And they said, "No, I'm revealing evil in front of the children." But don't argue.
Yep.
Don't try to prove anything.
Don't.
So it don't have to be confusing. It doesn't have to be confusion if you're not arguing.
And it's not something personal, okay, guys? Like the wicked mother and the wicked grandmother, they're being controlled by a spirit that they're not even aware of. 9 times out of 10.
Back. You're protecting your children. And your wife too, literally. She might not be aware that that's what you're doing, but you're gonna protect the women even if they don't like it.
And a lot of times the women are too stupid to even realize they're being protected or what they're being protected from. They have no clue. I'm telling you, man, like a lot of females just don't understand because they don't understand the depths of evil and the depths of wickedness. They just mosey along through life. You know, like, it's insane.
Various factions and they're competing with one another, and every faction has its own interest. But this particular faction, yeah, we're not going to care about you guys at all. Why aren't you voting for us? It's absolutely insane. You know, like what is the class of men that right now culture hates the most? It's not violent men, by the way. It's not like evil men. It's not like even criminals. No, like I see gangsters that are being praised, and there's a pop culture song that glorifies gangsters. No. Like if you look at the type of men that culture hates the most, more than anything else, it's Gooners. Gooners are the most hated class of men right now. Like you can be a woman and you can do OnlyFans.
Okay, just so y'all know, in case y'all don't know what a Gooner is, the G-O-O-N, Gooner. Kirk probably knows. He knows what's up. He's hip like the cool kids. I'm laughing because it's retarded, but a Gooner is essentially, it could be any race of male, but I want to say it's primarily white men or white guys who are pornography addicts. They're masturbation addicts who basically spend all their free time jerking off. Okay, I don't want to be vulgar, but that's literally what a Gooner is. And all right, let's continue.
And it's fine. Like
And he's right, by the way.
you're obviously not going to.
Like the most hated group right now probably are the Gooners, like the white males. It could be any race, right? But primarily the white males who are pornography addicts, because that means that they're not giving attention to females. That's essentially why they're the most hated right now.
Be as glorified, but like culture will not dislike you as much as do OnlyFans, and it's fine. Like you're obviously not going to be as glorified, but like culture will not dislike you as much as they dislike Gooners. Gooners are considered to be the worst, right? Now, I'm on a Discord server for the game Nikke. It's got anime women that have plump tits and big asses. There's a lot of Gooners there, so I talk to Gooners. I interact with Gooners. I think I understand Gooners. Do you know what every single Gooner wants?
Okay, hold on.
They
So, when I first watched this, before he even said anything, I thought to myself, these Gooners, quote unquote, these porn addicts, they truly just want traditional wives and a family. And like the American dream, right? White picket fence, 2.5 kids, whatever. They just want a family, alright?
want the wife.
Yep.
They want that lady with the plump ass and big tits in order to interact with her, to go out with her, to talk with her, to date her, to marry her, to have children with her, and to tell other Gooners that they didn't fail as a man, that they actually managed to find someone that they love and the other person loves them back, and they managed to start a family and now are providing for that family. And they're
Yep.
keeping that family secure.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately,
And it's in all men to want this, guys. Even the masturbation addicts. They just want traditional wives, okay? He said waifus as in anime waifus, but I don't want to look at pics on, not on my channel anyway. I don't have a problem with looking at stuff like that, but they want like the archetype, right? They want the archetype of the female form with the hourglass shape, the nice breasts, and the plump asses, like Romanian TV said. I don't know what name he goes by. This Romanian dude, he's cool. I like him a lot. I'm sub to him. I watch him because he covers like weird fucking news, sometimes mainstream, but he's been covering the election a lot lately, so I've been kind of backing off, but it's besides the point. But he's 100% on point, and the thing is, I didn't need to interview the Gooner community to know this, because I just understand guys, alright? I understand men, and a lot of y'all ladies might not like this, but I understand ladies too. And it should scare the shit out of y'all. But I don't know. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't.
a lot of these Gooners realize that their dream is too difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's too difficult to achieve in the real world. So they're basking into a fantasy. They're not hurting anyone besides themselves. They're just tuning out of society. They're
100%.
saying, well, I can't do this in real life. It's too difficult. I can't compete. I don't have my own house. I don't have my own car. I tried applying for various jobs. I can't get anything. So I may as well just sink back into my fantasy land. If I can't have a real woman, at least I can pretend. And these are people that are hated by society. They're despised. Again, worse than criminals. Like, you can be a gangster, you can sell drugs, and you're probably going to have a better rep and street cred.
And the answer to the why they're the most hated, like the culture, they're the most hated in the culture right now, is because, I'm telling you right now, it's because they're not giving their attention to actual women. And that's really what it boils down to. Most females don't like to see men happy. And this masturbation, gooner, kind of waifu fantasy stuff, they do not like. And that's why there's a big attack right now on sexualized, like, cartoon characters. This is gonna sound stupid as fuck, but there's a big old censorship campaign, maybe the last decade or so, but it's really ramped up the last 2 or 3 years, where sexy anime girls or sexy kind of drawings are getting censored in video games and TV shows and whatnot. I can give you an example real quick. So just to kind of something a little topical. So Dragon Quest 3 is coming out soon. Like a HD, like 2D 3/3D remake. So this girly right here, which is the soldier, is being censored, right? And a lot of people are up in arms about it, and it doesn't matter how much they're up in arms about it, nothing's gonna change. Which is like this bikini armor anime girl, right? And then over here on the right is the censored version. Here you go, you can see my cursor now. Over here on the right is the censored version where they put this kind of stupid looking, really retarded looking, like as an artist, guys, this is dumb. Like this fleshy colored whatever shorts bra thing. It's stylistically, it doesn't even match her outfit. I actually saw an artist redo it, and it looked a lot better. It actually looked okay. I don't know if I'll be able to find that, but this right here, this is what the culture, quote unquote, doesn't like. And it's mostly women, mostly angry females who don't like men looking at cartoon characters that are half naked. All right, and back in the 90s, this was a lot. This is around a whole lot. Um, and I think they also censored like the bunny outfit here and the alcohol. The alcohol thing may be considered something kind of separate, but the bunny outfit, like the cleavage here, they had censored that from what I understand. I don't know if I'll find an example. Here's another example of censorship where they censored the. I don't think it's this left one that's actually. Yeah, okay, this left one is the censored version, which is they don't want like religious context or religious implications, right? So they did this weird thing on the left. They put more breast on her on this side, which is kind of weird. But another one was so the Marvel vs. Capcom collection censorship as well. I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but they had censored here we go. This as well. And this is what the Gooners want, right? Quote unquote. So right here in the bottom left, let me zoom out. On the bottom left is the censored version, and here you can see that that her name is Mai. Her cleavage is gone. Over here on the right, you can tell she's got breasts that are popping out of her little ninja outfit, whatever that is. What's really funny is that Tessa's cleavage is very apparent on both of them. This little witch girl up here, but Athena, this girl right here, bikini armor, completely gone down here. So stuff like that, they don't want the Gooners to be oogling at anime girls, right? So they censor shit like this. Just to give another example. So me personally, like I said, I don't give a shit about. Here's another crazy example. Forgot what game this was. Dragon Quest X. And you can view this as, you know, girls aren't allowed to be sexy. This is the message I get. And I showed my daughter. She's only 12, but I showed my daughter the this shit. And she's artistically inclined as well, and even she didn't like this. She didn't like this on the right. She thought it was dumb looking, and she was okay with this. She was like, she understands that it's an exaggeration, right? A girl in bikini armor is an exaggeration of reality. It's not meant to be taken seriously, you know? And this is what guys like, and a lot of girls like this too. Like, there's women out there, there's female gamers that like the Dragon Quest series that don't agree with this either. And it's fucking horrible looking to boot. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not buying this game just for this reason, because there's a whole laundry list of absolute laundry list of censorship that they did. So you've got an example on the right of kind of the, I don't think this is just a artist rendition, but the bikini armor kind of girl, you know, that trope. In the modern feminists, the culture doesn't like this because they don't like to attract the male gaze, right, or whatever. And to me, they give the opposite kind of impression of, you know, women aren't allowed to be sexy anymore because men aren't allowed to look at them anymore, kind of deal. I don't know, guys. That's just the way I interpret it. All right, let's want to go over this real quick. That's related to what we're talking about. What I was just talking about anime waifus.
Oh no, it does. It does. Okay. What the hell is that shadow? That looks terrible.
Shout out to Kirk.
Oh no, I'm trapped. Yeah, so just one of those quintessential characters to get the young kids into their thinking about their sexual desires and stuff. I would say one of my first times with that was, besides general like cartoons on the TV and stuff, with those kind of things, like Miss Bulma from Powerpuff Girls or some shit like that. Weirdly enough, I think Tony Hawk Underground 2 was actually the game, because in like one of the final levels they had it was like a Mardi Gras or some shit, and if you threw beads at the girls they would like show their tits, but they were censored. It was just a big censor bar, but your little imagination runs wild with that, and it definitely did with me.
So just on the subject of like weird and weird childhood waifus, and I was completely taken aback by this right here when it appeared on screen. I was like, oh, okay. Fucking Bomberman has like a mysterious, cat girl waifu just fucking out of nowhere. And I thought it was super funny, and it got me thinking about what I was exposed to as a kid, as a teenager. So me and Kirk were kind of having discussion about waifus. So this is related. I talked about my first encounter with a furry waifu, a character named Cat from Breath of Fire 2 for the SNES. And I'll show y'all. So it's like a cat girl kind of girl person thing, anthropomorphic, kind of semi-feral cat girl furry girl, This is fan art, obviously, but over here we got official art, which is stuff like that. So, shit like this is what I was exposed to back in the 90s, early 90s. All the characters from that time tended to have like this very raw kind of sexuality to them that we don't really have nowadays, at least for the most part. Except for like maybe, and there's this one of the sprites. Here are the sprites. This is a battle sprite when you fight her in game before you get her as a playable character. With the exception of like maybe gacha games, like Japanese mobile games, where like Bomber Girl is a good example. Let's see. Yeah, stuff like this. Cover your eyes, kids. But, unless it's like explicitly from Japan and pandering to like the Japanese Gooner crowd, I guess you could say, and from what I understand, the girls like this too, like the female fans of this kind of stuff. So it's like, don't worry, if something not safe for work shows up, I'll obviously blur it out. This is just like the stuff that's still in Japan right now, but you won't find anything like this in the Western, in the West. Because of the, like I said, the kind of, I don't know how else to say it, like, the anti-sexuality crowd, like the kind of neutered, they-thems, androgynous type of people that have seemed to have completely taken over the media. So that's where all this censorship crap kind of came about. But I kind of expressed my kind of nostalgia for that kind of 90s aesthetic. And you got characters like this, like Dace or Blue in the localized version. Her real name is Dace in the Japanese version, so I got used to calling her Dace because she's in the other Breath of Fire games, not just the second one. But kind of a sexy hag, older lady, older woman type of archetype. She's supposed to be the sexy sorceress, older character, older party member type if that makes sense. And she's one of my favorites. I like Dice a lot. Then the other girl, I can show her real quick, which is Nina. Which is like the winged sorceress type of chick, like archetype, female. Supposed to be a little more regal, you know, more beautiful. There's the official art right there. But still has like that kind of sexual energy, you know? Very thin waist. Kind of an hourglass sort of going on. The weird, this artistic decisions with the little shoulder pads and the pauldrons and the black wings and whatnot. It's really, really, really good silhouette. Like, as an art person, it's fucking amazing. So just to show off Kat's demon form, this is her demon form right here. You know, basically, practically nude, you know. And here's the official art for the shamans. Again, very, you know, not modest at all with these character designs. And here is this was actually the remake, not the remake, but the re-release of Breath of Fire 2. They like did new art and released it for the Game Boy Advance. Same game and everything. They just had different artwork for the manual and whatnot. And still got that, even though this game was released in the 2000s as the re-release for the GBA, it still had that same 90s kind of sexual aesthetic, you know what I mean? That basically saying, to me at least, it's okay to be a female. That's what it means to me now in hindsight, because nowadays you just have like kind of like disgusting blobs for especially, you know, the Western studios right now that are making video games. Like I think it was called Dustborn. Yeah, this shit. Just like, I don't know, like if I were to be an art guy, okay? And I can't find anything high resolution. But stuff like this, alright? And I'm not saying this is wrong to put in your video game, but it's always the case of covering them up head to toe in some way, right? And all the males are like feminine, kind of liberal looking weirdos, and all the girls are covered up in the half hair, right? And the very boyish looking thing, blob, whatever this is, and I'm not saying that because she's fat. I'm saying that as like an artist, like this silhouette shape is just like just a shape, okay? There's nothing that stands out from this art direction other than it just being kind of hideous. And this is the modern this is what modern women are to these people. Like, just cover yourself head to toe. You know, there's nothing sexual about you. Men aren't allowed to look at you, or you're not allowed to feel sexy in any way or look good in any way. This is the message they want. This game bombed, by the way, as far as I know. Oh yeah, here's the cat girl. I had to look it up. Her name is Nadia? Yeah. There she is. Pretty sure there's fan art of her. Yeah, look at this. Kirk made a joke about the Rule 34 community. And I didn't look up Rule 34 of her, even though I was tempted to. Rule 34 meaning, if a character exists or if something exists on the internet, there's gonna be pornography of it. It don't matter what it is, and I would say that's true. It's right here, I admit that. And I still hadn't looked it up because I don't care that much. And like I said here, the Japanese didn't give a shit about American feminist sensibilities because, you know, the soccer moms were hollering about Budweiser commercials and shit back then. And video games wasn't really on their radar as corrupting children, because back then Nintendo was still considered something for kids, like a children's toy, because boomers are retarded in that way. I think that's all I have to say, guys. Kind of a hodgepodge of topics here, but I hope y'all enjoyed it. Y'all have a great day.